Exercise 4. Honolulu, Hawaii. Boise, Idaho. Springfield, Illinois. Indianapolis, Indiana. Des Moines, Iowa. Note that we treat the name of this capital like one word, and the greater stress is on the second part, so we say Des Moines, Iowa. And I believe we do this because we took the name from another language. Topeka, Kansas. Frankfort, Kentucky. Now some Americans may change the second syllable of the capital, and you may hear Frankfurt. Do you hear the difference? Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now I chose to use a smaller symbol here because some Americans actually take this sound out, and instead of Baton Rouge, you may hear Baton Rouge. Augusta, Maine. Annapolis, Maryland. Boston, Massachusetts. Lansing, Michigan. St. Paul, Minnesota. Jackson, Mississippi. Jefferson City, Missouri. Helena, Montana. Lincoln, Nebraska. Carson City, Nevada. Concord, New Hampshire. Trenton, New Jersey. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Note that the capital, Santa Fe, is treated as one word. We place the most stress on fe. That's our primary stress. I believe we do this because we took the name from a foreign language. Again, that's Santa Fe, New Mexico. Albany, New York. Note that we treat New York as one word, and we place more stress on the second part, York. Again, that's Albany, New York. Raleigh, North Carolina. Here is another example where I choose to use my transcriptions. It may not agree with all other sources, but I feel that these transcriptions best reflect the common pronunciation of the state. Again, the state is North Carolina. Bismarck, North Dakota. Have you been to all 50 states?
I certainly haven't. I would love to travel all 50 states or travel across the country by car, but I haven't been to all 50.
Which state made the best impression on you?
Colorado. I love the sort of temperate climate of Denver, but the mountains were gorgeous and there was snow, but you could get a suntan. was just a couple hours from Denver into the mountains. It was a beautiful state.
Can you tell me some of the vacation states?
Sure. For me, the vacation states have been South Carolina, where we've gone to Hilton Head. They've been the Virginia Beach area, where we have been to Sandbridge. They've been Florida, where we've gone several times to Disney World.
Americans sometimes talk about the East Coast and the West Coast. Can you tell me some West Coast states?
West Coast states would be California, Oregon, Washington. I think those would mostly be the West Coast states that I can think of.
Can you tell me states on the East Coast?
They would be the Northeast, starting with Maine, Massachusetts, Delaware. East Coast would be even as far south as Virginia, not much farther probably, because then you would be considered the South. New York would be considered an East Coast state. Connecticut.
Can you name some Midwestern states?
Sure. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri probably would be considered a Midwestern state. Western Pennsylvania definitely would. Ohio, I think I mentioned that. And that's all I can think of at the moment.
Have you been to Washington?
Washington State or Washington, D.C.? Because Washington, D.C. is the capital of the country, and it's a district, the District of Columbia, not a state. And I've certainly been there a number of times. I've never been to the state of Washington.
Which state would you most like to visit?
I've always wanted to visit New Mexico.
Why?
Ever since I was in college, I've loved the paintings of Georgia O'Keeffe. I love the mountains, the desert, the Indian artifacts. It just sounds like a beautiful state, and I've never been to see it.